And hello, race fans, and welcome to the Chicagoland Speedway, where tonight, after pretty much this is the halfway point of the WRLA Xfinity Series, and my goodness gracious, we are here in Joliet, Illinois for the first time in 9 years. The last time that the WRLA Xfinity Series came here to the Chicagoland Speedway, we had ourselves a very thrilling end to our race that actually started in the day and ended off in the night. I can't quite remember exactly who won that race. I would have to assume it might have been... can't quite remember if it would have been anybody from this pack, or at least that was around in 2017. But regardless of that, we saw a very fantastic ending to our one and only Xfinity race from here at Chicagoland just 9 years ago. And here we are just 9 years later, and we're getting ready to tear it up once again. If you weren't with us this past Friday night, then you definitely missed out on some spectacular racing from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Reagan DeFeo managed to pull away from Ray Atikian, who actually was looking to go 3 in a row, not just for himself, but for Walker Family Motorsports. That would have been history-making in WRLA as an entirety. But Reagan DeFeo definitely put a stop to that one and got her second win of the season at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And as we're going to take a look here in the points standings, she is definitely staying inside of the top 10. And also on top of that, definitely making it known that she is going to be a serious threat for this championship. But as you see, top of the board is Ray Atikian with 287 points to his name. Behind him is John Boyd with 241. And then 207 for both Reagan DeFeo and Thomas Jericho. But as you can see there, DeFeo breaks that tie after her win at Charlotte last Friday. And that puts Jericho, our Talladega winner, in fourth. Sam Robinson completes your top 5 with 200 points. 197 for Ryan Kendall in 6th. Erica Douglas with 195 in 7th. Kasumi Takashi, she is our winner from Las Vegas with 192 in the 8th position. Igor Barreto, our Brazil winner, in 9th with 185. And Alexander Rowe, after a strong performance at Charlotte last Friday, he moves up into the 10th position with 183 points to his name. There's a look at the rest of your point standings coming in here to this race, and you can definitely see some of the drivers that benefited from Charlotte. Eric Blaze in the number 8 machine. The story for him, of course, was the last couple of races at the beginning of the year. He unfortunately did not get off on the right foot, crashed out on turn 3 on lap number 1 at Daytona. Finished dead last in Minnesota, did not have a great performance at Las Vegas, so this team just kept missing and missing and missing. But then at Iowa, they started turning things around, and now here is Eric Blaze inside of the top 20 in the point standings. There's Joshua Neely, also Steve Morgan, currently 169 points. If the season were to end right here, right now, then Steve Morgan would get the seat for Death Rider Racing as far as the Cup Series in 2027 goes. But as you look further down the running order, Derek Hamill had himself a very strong performance last weekend. Last Friday, last weekend either way, but unfortunately, just was not able to pull himself pull himself back into the top 30. And unfortunately, he is 32nd in the point standings. Harun Kankoiloglu in 33rd with 105. And then our only driver that is yet to break into the triple digits, that is Haley Kurris with 96 points to her name. My goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this first half of the season has been absolutely wild. But as we prep up for the second, as we are about getting ready to conclude the first half of the season, this is going to get very interesting here. And for some of our points contenders, our championship contenders so far, I mean, they are going to be, some of them are going to be starting pretty well up closer to the front. Others are not going to be too benefited from that. As far as qualifying is concerned, let's go ahead and take a look at your starting lineup. As you can see there, Marcus Sachi, Carter Belair, they're on the front row, and they're going to be leading the field to the green flag here for tonight's race here at Chicago. Ray Atiki, our points leader, starts in third, and Sam Robinson fourth. They make up your second row. Noah Carr's Abby Walker in row number 3, then Alexander Rowe, Reagan Whitlock. Both drivers managed to dominate the opening stages of last Friday night's race at Charlotte. They line up in row number 4. Steve Morgan and Campbell Marsh complete your top 10, and Marsh is definitely looking for a rebound after Charlotte last Friday night. Ryan Kendall, Sarah Taylor in row number 6. Then in the 7th row is Douglas and DeFeo, last week's winner. Fitzgerald and Thomas Jericho in row number 8. Row 9 sees Will Parrish and Emmanuel Hartnett and Harun Khan, Koiloglu, and Kasumi Takashi in the 10th row. That is your top 20. And then take a look from 21st on down. Then it's Sumner and Gilbreth, Moscow and Kukulon, Curris and Kane, Olace and Monsell, Ingleham and Bobby Maguire making this race here for tonight. He starts 30th. Then runner-up in the point standings, John Boyd, and then Nick Martin, Dana Mon, Joshua Neely, Shawna Martin, Eric Blaze, Miriam Judicia, and then also you got Kenny Stremme, and then rounding out your 40-car field in the provisional spots, that being Derek Hamill and Igor Barreto. That is your 20th row here for this race. But, well, ladies and gentlemen, after tonight, we will officially be halfway through the 2026 Xfinity Series season, and it has been absolutely spectacular. The championship race so far is heating up, and as we get ready to conclude the first half, we're going to definitely try to do the best that we can to end it off with a bang. The drivers are strapped into their cars. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up, but in order to get these 40 behemoths rolling on the racetrack, we get the command to fire the engines. So let's go trackside and get just that.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Engines are fired. Pace car is rolling off, and so are these 40 contenders. 81 laps around this mile-and-a-half facility. And it's definitely going to be a very fun one here at the Chicagoland Speedway. If you weren't with us just 9 years ago, we definitely saw a lot of pack racing amongst a lot of the contenders that were here just around that time, almost a decade ago, back in the year 2017. Saw a lot of crashes in that point, but with a different package and with a slightly modified spoiler, we might be able to see a little bit of some better racing and maybe a little bit calmer, as this race is a little bit longer than what it used to be. Of course, we used to run our Cup races at 25% length, but with the races being 50% length for Cup, we have to accommodate for at least 25% being trucks and then 30 for the Xfinity Series. Field comes off turn number 4. Pace car dives to pit road right now. Marcus Sachi, Carter Belair are on the front row, and they're going to lead the field of the green flag to get this race underway from here in Chicago. And look at Atiki in there in that number 20, wasting no time. He's going to try to look to the inside. He poked out a line there for a little bit, but was not able to get the run on the 14 of Sachi. Sachi breaks out with the top spot. And we'll leave the first lap of action here tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway. Belair second. Atikian started third, is currently third right now. 3 abreast here with Abby Walker in the middle. Robinson up on the top side. He's in fourth. And Abby Walker, as I mentioned, she completes your top 5 scoring-wise. But just looking at these drivers go all over the racetrack. High, low, middle. Takashi into the outside wall further in the back. It's like she's going to lose just a little bit of momentum further back there. But nobody is going to take evasive action, and we stay green. Look at the 54 of Reagan Whitlock just get such a launch coming off of turn number 2. She's going to carry that momentum all the way down the back straightaway, all over the back bumper of the number 10. Trying to take it to the bottom side, but not going to be able to make that pass work. But now Whitlock up to the 3rd position. Belair in 4th. And there goes both Belair and Robinson to the inside. But as we are seeing, the middle to high grooves are definitely going to be the place to be throughout this entire 81 lapper. We're definitely going to see it in tomorrow night's NOS Energy Cup race here at Chicagoland, and it's definitely going to be a pretty fun one at that, especially with the rate of how we're seeing these Xfinity drivers take to this racetrack. But Tikian's going to fall back to the 6th position. Noah Carr's up to 5th, and there's Reagan Whitlock now up into the 2nd spot to try to chase down Marcus Sachi for this race lead. Coming up to 5 laps complete here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Robinson in 3rd, Belair 4th, Carr's still in the 5th position. And here comes Abby Walker to try to get to the inside of the 92 for that 5th spot. Belair to the bottom, heading into turn 1. Not going to be able to make that run stick. So he's going to stay right on the tire tracks of Sam Robinson. Meanwhile, further in the back, there's Reagan DeFeo in the 45, trying to get to the inside of Thomas Jericho to knock on the door of the top 10. She won last weekend at Charlotte, and definitely has been on a roll alongside Ray Atikian. So both she and the number 20 of Atikian, they are looking for win number 3 on the season. One of these drivers are very capable of doing just that. And as far as Ray Atikian goes, he had a chance to go 3 in a row last weekend and actually make history, but can still make history regardless. Well, one of these 2 drivers, Atikian and also Reagan DeFeo, can make history because as far as I can recall, I don't remember anybody in the Xfinity Series winning more than 2 races at all throughout the season. So it's going to be a very, very interesting night to see if, and just to basically watch and see if one of these drivers in the top 3 in the point standings, either Atikian or even Reagan DeFeo, try to nab their 3rd win of the season. I don't think it's ever been done before, and it could very well happen here tonight. Marcus Sachi, for those that are just now tuning in, has led every lap since the drop of the green flag. But here comes Reagan Whitlock, Atikian's teammate, all over the back bumper of the 14. Now takes it to the inside, heading into the 3rd corner. Almost draw even on corner entry, will the 54, but not going to be able to get it off of corner exit. Meanwhile, almost 3 wide, and we are 3 wide down the front straightaway with Robinson up top, Abby Walker in the middle, and Atikian on the bottom. You also got Ryan Kendall in the 00. Now moving up to the middle line as you got Thomas Jericho in the 4 down there on the inside line. And don't look now, there's the hottest driver in the Menards Truck Series right now, that being Emmanuel Hartnett, at least one of them. He lost out on the points lead last Thursday at Indianapolis when he got caught in a mid to late race crash heading into turn number 4. But Hartnett, although he has not lost the points lead, he's not out of the championship fight in the Truck Series. But here in the Xfinity Series, obviously racing with nothing to lose, and within the last few starts that he's made here in this division, he's actually performed pretty consistently. And so far, showing off that same performance yet again. Further in the back, you got Jordan Sumner in the number 98. Sumner did not have a great race at Charlotte last Friday night. Unfortunately, got caught up in a crash with Campbell Marsh in turn number 3, as well as several other drivers. But Sumner was one of those drivers that definitely got the worst end of the wreck. She wound up getting taken out, and she did not score as many points as what I would have hoped. So far, running 14th. Working her way around the outside of Alexander Rowe here in this number 2. Who was oh so strong at Charlotte last weekend. But now Sumner gets right on by. And here comes the 91 of Vanessa Gilbreth to the inside of Emmanuel Hartnett. Not going to be able to make that run stick. But up front, challenge for the lead is on. Here comes Carter Belair in the 51. Around the outside of Marcus Sacchi. He's going to take it right to the outside. And he's going for it. Here comes the 51 of Carter Belair to the race lead. He's got it on Marcus Sacchi, new race leader. It's Carter Belair in the 51. And here comes Reagan Whitlock right around the outside of Sacchi as they come off of turn number 4. They'll put Whitlock back up into the 2nd position. This is going to kick Sacchi back to 3rd. And here we go. With Sacchi trying to fend off a challenge from more cars in that 4th spot. Can he easily do that, and he'll retain 3rd momentarily. Rayatikian now going to try to muster up a challenge around the outside of the 26. Not able to get up to the right rear quarter panel of Abby Walker's machine. Might try it. Maybe getting to the inside here going into 1. Nope, not going to be the case. Maybe down the back straightaway, but I really don't see this number 20 being all that aggressive as of right now. So far, you're running inside of the top 10. You're having yourself a good race. And definitely for sure, just want to ride here, at least for the time being. Also, you got Thomas Jericho in the 4, still sitting pretty in that 7th position. Here comes Sacchi. Trying to muster up a challenge to the inside of Reagan Whitlock. Was not able to start the pass. Didn't have a good run to stick going into turn number 1. He's going to try it again going into 3. Gets to the left rear quarter panel of a Whitlock, but coming off of 4, it'll be the 54 that will have a great corner exit. He's definitely going to use that run to her advantage. Here comes Reagan Whitlock to the inside of Belair going into turn number 1. But that 51 of Belair around the outside just so strong and manages to get that drive off and that huge launch coming off of turn number 2. Around the outside goes the number 20 of Rayatikian. He's going to try to take it downstairs on Abby Walker, at least thought of it. Now this is actually a very interesting dilemma for Walker Family Motorsports. Here in the Xfinity Series, you have Rayatikian, who drives the number 20, but obviously in the Cup Series, he drives for Trinity River Racing on a part-time basis. But here in the Xfinity Series for Abby Walker, she drives the number 26 for Sam Hunt Racing, kind of like an all-star car that's kind of associated with Walker Family Motorsports. And on the Cup side, she actually does drive for Walker Family Motorsports. Although they are manufacturer teammates here in the Xfinity Series, they're not actual teammates here, just the same way as they are in the Cup Series. They're both manufacturer teammates, just a part of 2 different teams. Walker now moves up into the 4th position around the 92 of Noah Cars. That puts him back in 5th. As all the field, for the most part, has gotten into a single file rhythm as we are almost 1/4 of the way done here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Ryan Kendall left that top side open. That would have been bad news there for him if Kendall was able to keep that outside open, because that would have enabled Alexander Rowe to drive around the outside and take over that 10th position. Vanessa Gilbreth in the 91 taking it downstairs is up front, almost 3 wide for the race lead. Not going to be the case, because here comes Marcus Sacchi back up into the second position, and he's taking Abby Walker with him. Around the outside of Reagan Whitlock. So now the 54 is going to get kicked back to fourth and maybe fifth here, as Abby Walker's going to try to make something happen on the bottom side. Has to lift a little bit. But she's going to tuck right back in behind the 14, who's going to take it downstairs on Carter Belair going into turn number 3. So far, some very good action that we're seeing here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Honestly, way better than what we saw just 9 years ago. Obviously, in the terms of safety, when it comes to the racing aspect, obviously, we're definitely getting a pretty good money's worth. Cars around the outside of Abby Walker. This is the fight for third. And Ray Atikian's going to take it downstairs. Almost 3 wide. Not going to be the case when it comes to 3 abreast going into the third corner. But Noah Carr is going to try to make something happen on the inside. Managed to pull up alongside Sacchi down the front straightaway. That momentum that he had is not going to carry him going into the 1 and 2. Instead, that's going to be in the favor of Sacchi Walker, who's going to take it to the inside of Marcus Sacchi going into 3. And also Thomas Jericho in the 4, who's been rocking around the outside. And don't look now. That gray and orange number 18 of Campbell Marsh rolling around the middle line, around the outside of Reagan Whitlock. And you know, Wyatt's definitely got to be pretty happy to see at least 3 of his cars inside of the top 10. The next Walker Family Motorsports car, you might wonder, where is Derek Hamill? So far, that number 19 currently sitting in the 38th position. So things not looking too good here for Derek Hamill, as we are 26 laps complete here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Marcus Sacchi goes back out front. Obviously, it wouldn't be an NR 2003 race if we missed the fight for the race lead, but Sacchi goes back out front, bringing Thomas Jericho with him. Walker in third, and then Carter Belair now going to hold off a challenge from Ray Atikian for that 4th spot. So Atikian's going to go to 5th. And then Marsh to 6th, Robinson 7th. Cars now being attacked by the 2 of Alexander Rowe. This is for 8th. So far, Cars holds on to that spot. Then it's Alexander Rowe 9th and Ryan Kendall completing your top 10. If you're a fan of Death Rider Racing, obviously, you're going to see that Steve Morgan is in the picture at that number 7 machine, so far running in that 13th position. And as far as I can see, that's the only Death Rider Racing car that is performing pretty strong right now. Joshua Neely currently sitting in 24th. Eric Blaze in the 28th position. And then Ajax Fitzgerald, I do believe, is actually 19th. So definitely kind of went right over him, but at least 2 Death Rider Racing cars inside of the top 20, coming up to 29 laps complete. Here comes Abby Walker around the outside of Thomas Jericho for the runner-up spot heading into 1. Belair's going to move up to the outside. Atikian kind of moving up. At least was trying to move up to the outside line. And we might see our first round of green flag pit stops take place here pretty soon. You kind of saw some of these drivers definitely hugging that white line pretty solidly going through turns 3 and 4. So that's telling me we might see our first round of green flag pit stops probably right around lap 40, closer to around the halfway mark, or at least 5 laps away from the halfway mark, right around lap 40 to 41. And here we go, actually. It's going to be way earlier than what I anticipated. And oh, boys, Cars and Atikian around into the outside wall. And oh, boy, even more calamity down the front straightaway. Reagan DeFeo, 3rd in points collected. More trouble up ahead. That's Haroon Konkoy-Loglu going around. Justin Ingleham gets collected. Erica Douglas, top 10 in points. Noah Kars, who's actually performing pretty well in this race, gets caught up. Kendall, Will Parrish, all involved in that crash. My goodness gracious, and that is not a good time for a caution to come out with all these cars that went ahead and made their pit stops. Actually, it might benefit them because the rest of the field, by the time pits are open, that's going to be the case. They're going to lead. They're going to all come on down, and there's the damage to our points leader of Ray Atiki, and a little bit of passenger side damage on the number 20. They're going to definitely get that right side door buffed out a little bit. And it shouldn't take them that long to get that damage reassessed. So as these drivers are going to be making their pit stops on the left-hand side, you see Abby Walker. She's actually not going to win the race off of pit lane. But as the crews of the number 20 go to work on the passenger side of Atikin's car, Ajax Fitzgerald wins the race off of the pit lane, and he will rejoin the field along with the rest of the other drivers that came in a pit at the tail end. Let's go back and take a look at what happened that caused that first caution of the night here at the Chicagoland Speedway. It all started when pit stops were getting ready to take place. I saw Ray Atikian. I believe he squeezed Noah Kars into the outside wall. And from there, it just caused a lot of calamity. And the thing is, when that happens, I mean, of course, all the drivers kind of hug the outside closer to the wall just so way they can give way to the other drivers that are peeling to the inside and peeling to the apron to come to pit road. But as you can see there, Ray Atikian had to slow way down because Thomas Jericho went from the high side all the way down low to get to pit lane. And right there is where the contact happens. And Jordan Sumner is going to get into the back of the 92. And that's what sends cars around. Will Parrish gets involved, Eric Blaze, and as well as several others. They're going to take evasive action down to the infield grass. And then Kendall and Parrish and Douglas get together on the outside wall in the front straightaway. And Douglas ends up lifting the Ollie's machine of Ryan Kendall up into the air just a little bit, just jacks that 00 up. And then further up ahead is the damage between Val Mosco, Reagan DeFeo, and also the 11 of Igor Barreto. Then up ahead, Bobby McGuire, I think he just doored Harun Kankoiloglu going into one. Eric Blaze gets a little bit of damage, but I think he should be he's definitely going to be okay to continue. And then Takashi gets collected. There's where the front end damage comes from on her car. And then Justin Ingleham, unfortunately, just nabs the 42 at the last possible second. So several drivers with moderate hood damage on their race machines. Let's look at what happened to Moscow. And actually, yeah, this definitely was drivers just trying to take evasive action for all the other cars that were making their way down into the, or at least taking evasive action down into the infield grass. And you see there's where the issue starts. I think Amon and Cars got together. That sent Amon up into DeFeo. And then let's go ahead and rewind this a little bit and see where Moscow and Barreto get involved. I think they just made contact with one another. Let's take a look further in the back. Actually, no, it was Cars that actually not only tagged him on, but then later tagged Barreto. That sent him up into Val Mosco. And then Reagan DeFeo in the process. So that's where these three cars went around. And then let's follow along with, oh, there's where the incident happens with the 42. Actually, I think it was Marion Judicia who made contact with Harunkan Koiloglu, that is just a byproduct of all these drivers trying to take evasive action through the infield grass. Look at that, almost 10 wide, what seems like. We're not recreating Phoenix from last year, but you see Judicia makes contact with Koiloglu, turns him down into Bobby Maguire. And then as Maguire comes back up the racetrack, he just shoves that 42 up into the outside wall. Yeah, it doesn't really look like a lot of damage to Eric Blaze's car. It doesn't really look like it got damaged at all, so he should be okay. And then Takashi and Justin Ingleham get their damage to at least end off that wreck. My goodness gracious, just definitely a lot to unpack there. 3 separate incidents that happened that at the beginning of the front stretch all the way into turn number 1. Started off with this crash right here with the Tiki and Noah cars. That carried all the way down the front straightaway, and then DeFeo, Moscow, and Barretto get together, and then up here, Koiloglu, Judicia, and then Bobby Maguire all make contact with one another, sending the 42 around, and then Ingleham and Takashi got their damage from the spinning number 42. My goodness gracious. Absolutely unbelievable pictures of what we just witnessed for our first caution of the night here at the Chicagoland Speedway. 32 laps of racing complete. Closing in on the halfway mark here in just 7 laps time by the time they come around to complete lap 33. And we saw one retiree, that being the 32 of Erica Douglas. She is the first to call it quits here tonight. She'll be taking that car behind the wall. And as far as other drivers that were involved in that crash, there's Noah Cars getting his car back out on the racetrack. There's Derek Hamill in the 19. Not having himself a good night tonight. Currently, as of right now, 39th by the time they cycle this 32 all the way down to 40th. Moscow is back in this race along with Harunkan Koiloglu, who just got ping-ponged around in turn number 1. Ryan Kendall, lots of damage to his car. Not a good night for one of the Vision Motorsports cars. Parrish is also back in the race. There's Ray Atikian in the number 20, and also Reagan DeFeo in the 45. First and third in the point standings are closer to the back. So far, I see them in 31st and 32nd. And our runner-up in points, John Boyd, man, he is definitely loving the news that he got as soon as that caution came out, because he is sitting in the 11th position, knocking on the door of the top 10. So tonight could be a very, very good night for Vision Motorsports. What was a bad night for, what is a bad night so far for Ryan Kendall, so far is turning out to be a good one for the 41 of John Boyd. He was the points leader for a little while in the Xfinity series, and might take the points lead back after tonight. 1 to go has been given. We are getting ready to go back under the green flag with 35 laps complete. It is Thomas Jericho leading the way with Marcus Sachi in second, Campbell Marsh in third. Running in fourth is Sam Robinson. Emmanuel Hartnett rounds out your top 5. And then it's Alexander Rowe in 6th, Steve Morgan in car 7, currently in P7. In 8th is Sarah Taylor. 9th is Celeste Lace, and Carter Belair rounds out your top 10 as the field works their way down the backstretch, heading into the 3rd corner. But some other honorable mentions as of right now. You got Sebastian Kukulon so far running in 14th, Ajax Fitzgerald in 15th, Austin Kane in the 17th position, and Joshua Neely has cracked the top 20 for what appears to be the first time tonight. Eric Blaze, after his damage that he sustained, the very minimal damage that he sustained from the 42, so far running in 21st. Let's see if it's We're about to find out if that damage that the 8 got has any effect, along with the 45 and the 20, especially the 20 of Arayatiki. And here we go. Thomas Jericho brings them to green with now 35 laps complete. And he actually did get a really good jump on that restart. Marsh trying to take it downstairs on Marcus Sachi. And if possible here, I do believe for some of these drivers that pitted on lap 31, they had a couple of laps added, of course, with running in the pace laps. Hold up a minute here. What's going on here? One car to pit road. That's Abby Walker in the 26. Rayatikian all the way down to the grass. Right back up on the track. Rejoins pretty safely. We stay green. But the 26 rather. Trouble for her. Abby Walker on pit road. Unscheduled stop there for the 26. Possibly might have had a penalty of some sort. But either way, green is still out. Jericho in second. Or not Jericho, rather. Jericho is leading, but it's Campbell Marsh in second, rather. Then it's Sachi, Hartnett, and Robinson, the top 5. Here comes Steve Morgan around the outside of Alexander Rowe. How about the RCR cars? Currently 6th and 8th right now, scoring-wise. Robinson going to try to retain that 5th position from Steve Morgan. Around the outside. Is going to stay glued, or at least pull up to the back bumper of Emmanuel Hartnett. There goes Alexander Rowe to the inside of Steve Morgan, heading into turn number 1. Also got Sarah Taylor and also the 54 of Reagan Whitlock partying around the outside. You also got John Boyd, runner-up in the standings. This is definitely the night that he needs if he wants to take the points lead right back away from Rayatikian. If not tonight, he could definitely get close. So far, Atikian, after he definitely had his moment, he got relegated from 21st all the way down to 32nd on the restart. So definitely things not looking too good here for Rayatikian here tonight. Coming down to it, halfway home here at Chicagoland in the halfway mark of the season. Here comes Robinson around the outside of Campbell Marsh for 3rd. Boy, these two cars of the 14 and the 10 have been absolutely strong all day long since that green flag dropped. Robinson now going to try to get 2 birds with 1 stone as he goes to the outside of his teammate of Marcus Sachi heading into turn number 1. And that might be the thing that Jericho needs if he wants to at least extend his lead by just a few tenths. He might do it here if Robinson takes it downstairs on Jericho. So far, that's not going to be the case. And Campbell Marsh rocking around the outside. Now he's going to go low on the 10. Thinks better of it. Or does he? He takes it downstairs again going into turn number 1, but it's going to cost him a position. Marcus Sachi going to follow in the tire tracks of Sam Robinson, who then takes it downstairs. And how about this? 3 wide going into turn number 3. And I think Sachi and also the 18 of Marsh are going to come out on top in that battle. And indeed, that's going to be the case. So Marsh gets kicked back to 4th. Not only does he get moved back to the 4th position, but he retains it in the process at the same time as Hartnett is going to lose that 5th position to the 7 of Steve Morgan. Morgan has definitely come to life here since pretty much since this restart. Hanging out inside of the top 10. You can definitely tell that Steve Morgan has definitely been pretty motivated ever since Russell Blaze made that announcement of that race for the seats, his own version of race for the seat. Whoever finishes highest in the points amongst his drivers here in the Xfinity Series to get that full-time ride in the number 26 in the Cup Series. So far, Steve Morgan definitely making well on his promise. Definitely making well on that promise, rather, on that challenge, if you will. So far, running in 5th. Trying to be as consistent as possible. Maybe see if he can try to win here tonight. Came close to Texas World just a couple of weeks ago, and very well could do it tonight. John Boyd partying around the outside. He's going to get by Alexander Rowe. This is going to be for the 8th position. But Boyd definitely having a good night tonight. Going to get to the outside of Reagan Whitlock. Not going to be the case. Takes it downstairs. That might be a pretty big mistake because Austin Kane is now going to be up on that middle line. Or will he? He's on the bottom. Along with Alexander Rowe in the 2. They're in the back. Celesta Lace and Sarah Taylor duking it out for position. I almost had a panic attack. I thought the game was going to crash. Thank God it didn't. But further up front, looks like Marsh, he tried to go to the inside of Sam Robinson that last lap around. And that just wasn't going to do him any favors. So he stays in 3rd. And then further in the back, here comes Eric Blaze to the inside of Celesta Lace going into turn number 1. But that is definitely not going to benefit him whatsoever. So far, Blaze in 14th. Jordan Sumner and Nick Martin going to come around the 51 of Carter Belair. Meanwhile, up further, closer to the front of the field, Jericho still leads, but they're also going to approach the slower traffic of Noah Cars as he works his way down the backstretch this time. Heading into 3, these drivers now start down the back straightaway. Closing in on 30 laps of racing to go from here at the Chicagoland Speedway. 50 laps complete this time. Jericho still leads it. The entire top 10 was single file. It looks like Robinson's going to break out a line. And I thought he was going to try to go to the outside of Thomas Jericho. Takes the move downstairs. Here goes Sachi to follow. But that may not have been the wisest decision on either of their parts. Looks like Marsh is going to retain 3rd. He'll go down to the inside of Sam Robinson. He's going to get the nose underneath of the left rear quarter panel of the 10 machine heading into turn 1. But this is only going to help Sam Robinson pull away from Campbell Marsh. And look at Steve Morgan, rather. Up to 4th. He's going to try to go for 3rd. About that for the number 7 machine. And here they come on Noah Cars. Let's see exactly where these leaders are going to go. Jericho tries to go high. And oh boy. Looks like both lines are going to get blocked by the slow number 92. Now Jericho takes it downstairs. Boyd and Hartnett are now going to be in trouble. As now that inside line, I think, is going to start coming to life thanks to that number 92 being in the middle. So now Marsh, Sachi, Rowe, Whitlock, several others, they are now making that bottom work because of that 92 being up now on the high side. And Boyd is now going to start falling back like a parachute, as will Eric Blaze. Oh boy, 3 wide yet again. And finally, John Boyd is going to start threading the needle, as will Nick Martin, to get around the slow number 92. Eric Blaze already now, once again, starting to go to work on Marion Judicia. Blaze fell back quite a ways. He's in 13th. Now he moves his way back up into 12th, heading into turn 3. Is up front. Jericho still leads. Steve Morgan in second, Robinson in third, Marsh fourth, Sachi fifth, Rowe in sixth, Rowe in sixth, Hartnett in seventh, then Celeste Lace in eighth, Reagan Whitlock ninth, and Austin Kane rounds out your top 10. Robinson goes around the outside of Steve Morgan, and now here comes the 18 to the inside for the third position now. But Morgan, of course, is going to retain that thanks to a great run around the outside line. Now he's going to take it downstairs on Sam Robinson going into turn number 1. A couple more cars that these drivers are going to catch up to here shortly, as Hamill and Musco make their way down the front straightaway. Our leaders are in turn 3. Jericho just digging around the outside. He's going to retain that top position. Steve Morgan going to stay glued to the back bumper of Robinson. Now he's going to try to go around the outside, but Robinson had to lift quite a bit there. And I thought Morgan was going to take it to the outside of the 10, but that was not the case. And I thought he was going to wreck him in the process of just lifting for him. Jericho pulls out by 0.2 of a second over Robinson. Now Campbell Marsh rocking around the outside. He's up to third. Also got Steve Morgan sitting in fourth. Don't count him out. Could make something happen. Gonna go to the outside of Campbell Marsh. This will be the fight for the third position as they come through turn number 4. And down the stripe yet again. 22 laps of racing to go. Morgan to the outside. Definitely going to use that run to his advantage, and he'll move up to third. Maybe try to get 2 birds with 1 stone for second. Alace and Rowe, right-hand side of your screen, fighting for what looks to be the 6th position. Alace is going to get it around the outside. Further in the back, Eric Blaze and also Austin Kane duking it out. And this is what looks to be for the 11th spot. Now here comes Eric Blaze to the outside for 10th. On Sarah Taylor now heading into turn number 3. Gonna easily get that spot over the 24. Gonna cover the inside line. Try to cut off any sort of momentum that the 24 has. And he stays glued to the back bumper of the Wendy's machine of Sachi. Austin Kane trying to get to the bottom of Sarah Taylor. Meanwhile, that's slower traffic as Kendall makes his way down to pit lane. I would believe these drivers are due any time for another round of green flag pit stops. I think the caution is out. Yes, it is. Caution is out for the second time here tonight. And it was Thomas Jericho that led him back to the caution flag. And I wonder, actually, this is kind of interesting because I don't see any sort of smoke, nor do I see any. I mean, the only other driver that I would have seen on pit lane, obviously, is the 00 of Ryan Kendall. But other than that, I don't believe I saw anything. I don't think I saw any driver that would have had any sort of additional damage. I didn't see any skid marks. I didn't really see anything. So possibly could have been a debris caution. We'll definitely take a look at that after we see this this pit stop. This round of yellow flag pit stops for all of our contenders that are still on the lead lap. All of our lead lap cars are in the pits. Little bit of debris that's shed on pit lane. Some drivers kind of bumping into each other as they're trying to enter their pit boxes. Ooh, Eric Blaze exiting. Oh, Moscow and Alace making contact. That's because of Moscow trying to get into his pit stall. That's not good news. Oh, and Abby Walker, Noah Carr's making contact. Campbell Marsha's going to win the race off of pit lane. Jericho comes out second. Elise third. Hartnett fourth. Eric Blaze comes out fifth. Marcus Sachi comes out sixth. Sam Robinson comes out seventh. Alexander Rowe eighth. Steve Morgan ninth. Sarah Taylor comes out in the 10th spot. Let's just follow. Let's go back to a view of the pace car and actually see where the caution takes place and what it's for. We're going to let's go ahead and follow along with the pace car. Lights turn on here, and let's take a look. So let's see what could have happened, and that appears to be the case. Give me 1 second. Apologize, ladies and gentlemen. There is a spider in my room, and I think I might have located it. So I want to try to see if I can kill it. Might have to wait on it. But I do have my weapon of choice at the ready. Okay. But from the looks of things, as far as what I can dissect, this was a debris caution. So possibly might have been some debris shed from some of the other cars that might have had some damage from previous cautions, hell, even cool down laps, if you will. But very, very interesting dilemma that just broke down to cause the caution. So definitely going to be very interesting to see how this restart plays out. As we are just under 20 laps of racing to go. And how about this as well? Derek Hamill, Haley Curris, and also the 00 of Ryan Kendall. They are on the tail end of the lead lap. Especially Haley Curris and as well as Ryan Kendall. You know, with the 00 behind the 44 of Haley Curris, that might be a saving grace for her, because obviously that 00 does not have a hood on his car, so there's definitely a chance that we're going to see this 44 take off and definitely try to pull away from the leaders. By the time we get this restart, by the time that we get this race back underway. Definitely a little bit paranoid at this point, just kind of keeping my eye on that spider. Also paranoid of like some other types of movement. So we come down to it. Lights are going to be out on the pace car, so we're definitely going to see one lap, and we'll be back to green flag racing here pretty soon. Might be this time by. Remember, Derek Hamill, although he is leading this pack of cars, he is one lap down and soon to be two here. Lights are out on the pace car. 1 to go has been given, and Haley Curris now jumps up to the front row. So this probably is going to be the saving grace that Curris needs, because she'll need one more caution to come out in order to rejoin the field at the tail end of the lead lap. Right now, she's currently 35th, or 34th rather, on the tail end of the lead lap. Your race leader so far is Campbell Marsh. He won the race off of pit lane. In second is Thomas Jericho. Celeste Lace in third. Emmanuel Hartnett fourth. Then it's Eric Blaze rounding out your top five. Then Marcus Sachi in sixth. In seventh is the 10 of Sam Robinson. In eighth is Alexander Rowe. Not Marcus Sachi. He's in sixth. There's two Marcus Sachis apparently. But Steve Morgan is in ninth. And Sarah Taylor rounds out your top 10. Here we go for the restart. 15 laps of racing to go. This very well could be, and hopefully is, the final restart of the night for the Xfinity Series. Although it is Campbell Marsh, the race leader, it's Haley Curris on the tail end of the lead lap that'll lead the field back to green here at Chicago. And look at that 8 of Eric Blaze wasting no time. He's rocketing around the outside of Marsh, or actually not Marsh, a Lace, and as well as Hamill and several other cars. Look at that, number 8 of Eric Blaze with a great restart, but he's going to get trapped behind the 00 of Ryan Kendall. Now he's going to take it downstairs, 3 wide. So that 99, or that number 8 rather, moves up into the 4th position. Hartnett back to 5th, crash in the back. The caution flag comes out. That is exactly what Haley Curris needed. Now all she's got to do is stay out ahead of the leaders and beat them back to the caution flag, and she'll be back in this thing. Field works their way through 3 and 4. It is going to be Campbell Marsh that will lead them back to the caution flag, and Curris rejoins the field at the tail end of the lead lap. That was the thing that Haley Curris needed. Oh, that's such a shame for Reagan Whitlock. She got caught up in this one late in the going, having a great run here tonight. Val Moscow with even more damage, as is Will Parrish. Vanessa Gilbreth was caught up. Kasumi Takashi in another one, as was Bobby McGuire. This was a huge crash on the front straightaway. Sumner, Koiloglu, Sarah Taylor was involved. Oh my goodness gracious. And I'd say for the leaders, this is definitely a no-brainer. Stay out on the racetrack. You already took your 4 fresh tires. You already topped your gasoline off, so you're good to go the rest of the way. Holy cow, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting set to have a wild finish to this one. To conclude the first half of the Xfinity Series season, let's go back and review what happened that caused yellow flag number 3 of the night here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Oh my goodness gracious, this was a huge crash on the front straightaway, and trying to see exactly where it started, and indeed, I figured that's where it started, right behind the 19 of Derek Hamill. Everybody was trying to get around this number 19, who had seemed to be down a cylinder. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen, 4 wide coming off of turn number 4. You rarely see that here at Chicagoland. Steve Morgan in the number 7 up into the outside wall, but that's not where the wreck starts. Look at the 54 of Reagan Whitlock. And looks like right there gets into Derek Hamill, slides down into the 54 and goes back up into Steve Morgan, and that's where the crash starts on the outside. Meanwhile, on the inside, Sumner gets turned by John Boyd. Sarah Taylor gets involved, and then Whitlock comes down into Bobby McGuire and Vanessa Gilbreth, bottom of your screen, and it causes at least a 5 to 6 to 7, maybe 8 car pileup. Koiloglu gets involved in that one. Takashi with nowhere to go. And then Moscow, bottom of your screen, that purple and blue machine piles into the back of Igor Barreto right there. Justin Ingleham coming to a dead stop. Probably still got some more damage on his machine in the number 53. Judicious squeaks by without a problem. But a huge pileup. Huge pileup. Going into turn number 1. just closing in on 10 laps to go here at the Chicagoland Speedway. We are getting set for a very thrilling and wild finish at that. But just look at the carnage that ensues. One wreck starts up on the high side, another one down low. And it's just on from there. Look at the hits. Look at the carnage, debris getting just absolutely ricocheted into the air. And other cars just ping-ponging off of one another. But my goodness gracious, even Steve Morgan was further in the back of this one. He got by that one without an issue, but tough break for Reagan Whitlock. Unfortunately, not going to see the checkered flag fall here tonight. And that seems to be a common theme for the most part for Walker Family Motorsports. They have one car that doesn't perform all that well, and then the rest, well, they actually finished the race with almost flying colors. And so far, we're seeing that here tonight. Campbell Marsh continues to lead it. We are going to be inside of 10 laps to go when we restart this race. So when we're inside of 10 laps to go, it is going to be a single file restart. And there were some of the retirees. It was just going up the leaderboard to see if there was more. But there they are. Kazumi Takashi, Vanessa Gilbreth, the 28 of Will Parrish, and also Reagan Whitlock. They are going to be dropping down to where Val Moscow is, where he will be in the 39th position. And from the looks of things, 40 minus 6 cars, we are going to have 34 cars left on the racetrack. And from the looks of things, we're going to have at least 25 of them left on the lead lap. Want to thank you guys so much for watching here for WRLA Xfinity Series Racing from here at the Chicagoland Speedway. For those of you who are tuning in, thinking that this might be a normal stream, it is not. This is the only thing that we're going to be doing here for tonight. The same case for tomorrow night when we go NOS Energy Cup Racing. That's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So after the stream, we will be signing off for the night, and we'll be prepping up for NOS Energy Cup festivities tomorrow night, which you'll see that stream go live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, qualifying will be on the WRLA YouTube channel. That will start at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time from here at the Chicagoland Speedway. And so far, very, very happy that you are here to join us here for our halfway race, our halfway mark of the season for the WRLA Xfinity Series. Of course, after this weekend, WRLA will be off next week and we'll be back in action at the home, basically WRLA's backyard, the Michigan International Speedway, with all 3 divisions, the Menards Truck Series on the 18th, Xfinity Series on the 19th, and June 20th, we'll see NOS Energy Cup Series action at the Irish Hills of Michigan. Lights will be out on the pace car this time with 9 or 10 laps to go. So we'll be restarting with 9 laps remaining here at Chicagoland. It is Campbell Marsh, your race leader. Running in second is Thomas Jericho. In third is Celeste Lace. Eric Blaze running in fourth. Then Emmanuel Hartnett rounds out your top 5. In the 6th position, that is Sam Robinson. Marcus Sachi in 7th. Running in 8th is Alexander Rowe. Austin Kane 9th. And John Boyd rounds out your top 10. It is a single file restart to decide it all. And hopefully, this is going to be the final restart of the night. Haley Curris rejoins the field in the 25th position. Not Campbell Marsh, sorry. Steve Morgan falling all the way back to 23rd. Joshua Neely, first car 1 lap down in 26th. Ajax Fitzgerald in 11th. And Eric Blaze, so far the best performing Death Rider Racing car in fourth and has a shot to win here in Chicagoland. Russell Blaze has definitely got to be on the edge of his seat yet again. Here we go. 9 laps to go. Campbell Marsh leads him down, and we're back underway. Emmanuel Hartnett tried to go high on Blaze. That wasn't going to work out whatsoever. And now here comes Thomas Jericho. Actually going to try to defend that runner-up spot from the outside line. Alace is definitely making the bottom line work so far. Pulled ahead down the back straightaway, but the advantage is going to go to the 4 of Thomas Jericho as they come off of the 4th corner. 8 laps of racing to go. Blaze is going to follow through. Up to 3rd for the number 8. Now he's all the way up against the wall as Robinson is going to go to the middle, 3 wide. And now here comes Eric Blaze to the inside. Maybe he can try to see if he can get the bottom line to work. Campbell Marsh definitely loving what he sees in his rear view mirror. He's definitely trying to get his NOS Energy Cup Series career, or at least his WRLA career, sort of back on the right track. Didn't have the best of seasons last year in the Cup Series when he drove for American Motorsports. Definitely didn't follow the same success as his teammates of Alexander Rowe did. I mean, as far as consistency-wise. But didn't see the same success that Kyle Craven did when he went on to win the championship last year. Both drivers of Rowe and Marsh in the Xfinity Series here tonight. Marsh definitely in some very good company of Walker Family Motorsports, trying to lead the way and trying to win it here at Chicagoland. But he's got to hold off Thomas Jericho, who's looking for win number 2 on the season. Closing in on 5 laps of racing to go. Robinson in 3rd, Alace 4th, Blaze completing your top 5. Coming down to it, 5 laps of racing to go. One hand in the air. Top 5 all single file for now. The question will be, when will Thomas Jericho make his move? And if he makes a move to the inside, what will Sam Robinson do? Will he go to the outside? Because we know that top line has been the preferred way around all night long. We've definitely been seeing drivers make the passes around the high side in the middle line. Robinson takes it downstairs on Jericho. That may not be a wise move, but he's kind of lucky right now that Alace nor Eric Blaze have made the run to the outside. Now here comes Thomas Jericho to try to make the inside work. And Robinson's going to follow. Coming down to 3 laps of racing to go from here in Chicagoland. Alace looks like he's going to get that 3rd position away from Sam Robinson, and he might bring that 8 of Eric Blaze with him. And look at that 8. Definitely going to follow in the tire tracks of Alace in the 21. Now Alace goes downstairs. That's not good news for him, because now that opens up the door for Eric Blaze to make something happen around the outside. 2 laps of racing to go this time by. And Marsh continuing to pretty much count down the laps. 2 laps of racing to go. Now here comes Jericho to the inside. And that's not going to work out for him whatsoever. Blaze up to 3rd. And they're coming down to it. As they work their way through turns 3 and 4, the white flag is going to fall. And it's going to be for Campbell Marsh. Will he be leading, coming back to the checkered flag? Let's find out. 1 to go from here in Chicago. Blaze takes it to the inside of Jericho, and that might be the thing that he needs. Back straightaway one last time. Jericho is going to take it downstairs into turn number 3. Walker Family Motorsports has definitely been on a roll, and for the first time, another one of their cars is going to victory lane, and it's Campbell Marsh winning here in Chicago. Thomas Jericho is going to come home in 2nd. Eric Blaze, career best finish here in the Xfinity Series. He comes home in 3rd. A podium finish for the number 8 of Eric Blaze. He might find himself inside of the top 10. If not, he's gonna be close. Alace comes home in 4th. Those are the points that he needs. And also Sam Robinson, great performance for him, comes home inside of the top 5. Austin Kane finishes in 6th, then in 7th is the 99 of Emmanuel Hartnett. Finishing in 8th is Marcus Sachi. Then in 9th is Ajax Fitzgerald. And then completing your top 10 is Alexander Rowe. Take a look at the rest of your results from 11th all the way down to 25th. Everybody in that area finished on the lead lap. And then take a look at from 26th down to 30th. They finished 1 lap down or more. And then 31st down to 40th. Those were our retirees for the night. So we only saw 30 cars on the racetrack with 25 left on the lead lap. 25 finishing on the lead lap at that. But what a night from here at the Chicagoland Speedway, and definitely a very great race. Only 3 cautions, and we saw a really good finish to cap this one off. Campbell Marsh finally getting his first WRLA win, and he gets it done here in the WRLA Xfinity Series. Walker Family Motorsports has definitely been on a tear so far in the Xfinity Series, winning back-to-back races with Ray Atikian at Iowa and Texas World, and then a runner-up finish to follow that up with him last week. And then here we are just another week later. Campbell Marsh goes to victory lane here in Chicagoland. Oh my goodness gracious. What a race. What a race to cap off the first half of the season. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what else I could really say to that, but as far as Xfinity Series action, that's going to put a bow on it for now. And the next time you're going to see the Xfinity Series is going to be on June 19th at the Michigan International Speedway, where they'll be joining the Trucks in the Cup Series when we go back to action at MIS. But as far as action from here at Chicagoland, tomorrow we got WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series qualifying. That starts at 1 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. And then following that, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the green flag will fly from here at the Chicagoland Speedway. 134 laps for the NOS Energy Cup Series drivers. And this is definitely going to be a fun one at that. Just like of how this race was definitely a fun one to watch, especially right at the end. And Campbell Marsh definitely getting the pit stop that he needed to actually keep that 18 out front. And holding off Thomas Jericho, Eric Blaze, Celeste Alace, and several others to get the job done. One more time, congratulations to Campbell Marsh on getting the victory here at the Chicagoland Speedway. If you're watching the full race premiere, be sure to keep an eye on the Discord once this premiere concludes. And if you are watching the full race replay, if you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button. And if you have not considered subscribing yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button in order to keep up with some fine WRLA content all throughout the 2026 season. And if you're watching live on Twitch, be sure to hit the follow button so you don't miss a future stream. And also the link is down in the description if you want to follow the Twitch, if you're watching on the YouTube side as well. And we're going to be signing off here on the Twitch side, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of your night. Take care, and we will see you all tomorrow night for race number 12 of the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series. We're halfway home in the Xfinity Series side, and we're getting ready to kick it off in 2 weeks' time. For Xfinity Series, we'll see it in 2 weeks at Michigan, but as far as overall, we'll see it tomorrow night for NOS Energy Cup Series action from here in Chicagoland. This WRLA telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without any authorized written consent of 11 Broadcasting. WRLA would like to thank all of our loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.